But here, on the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
I hope you didn't see me at cloaking practice today.
No, I didn't. Well done. Your co-host, Julie.
Hello from the Midwest, where burnout is very real.
Oh, it's real everywhere. Your co-host, Thorsten.
Welcome from Dune.
Dune? Is it hot?
Yeah, it's as hot here. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, I'm sorry. And your co-host, Jacob.
Also 30 degrees outside, so it could be better.
30 degrees.
30 is harmless.
30 Celsius? Oh, fuck. That's very hot. That's like 100 and some degrees Fahrenheit, I think.
About there-ish, yeah.
Jesus, I'm sorry. Well, folks, welcome to the capitalistic dystopian hellscape we live in that climate change has given us. This is the new normal. So, friends, 25 in England. Jeez Christ. England is not supposed to get those temperatures.
It's England. It's always raining, cold, and miserable.
Yeah,
it's like,
you'd think.
That's why they got so good at sailing.
That's why it takes so long to film any show in England, because of the weather. Like, you're like, they're only making 6 episodes. Why does it take a year? The weather.
Well, there's that line from John Lennon's song, if you don't get your tan from standing in the English sun, you get it from standing in the English rain.
So, friends, we usually don't number these and date these, but this is episode 499. We've done 499.
Yay!
We've done 499 of these things, which is amazing. Amazing. We started this in 2013. And so
where does the time go?
12 years later, now with a different crew, we're about to hit episode 500. And with that, we have to announce some changes because, friends, I am burning out. I find as I am getting older, I'm getting slower, I'm getting less patient for things. And I find that doing this weekly is wrecking my brain. And that's not to say I don't love this. I don't love you guys. I don't. You can burn out on anything. You can burn out on stuff you love. You can burn out on stuff you hate. Anything can lead to burnout. Anything. And so, after much internal discussion, and whatnot, we are starting with the next episode going to a bi-monthly schedule. So the second and fourth Wednesday. Oh my God, I can talk. I've been nervous about announcing this. The second and fourth Wednesday of every month will be podcast day, which means there might be a break of 3 weeks every now and again. But again, this is to, especially for me, recharge my batteries, because my batteries are empty. I mean, I'm glad we have topics, but like, I've been so exhausted mentally, I haven't even think about bringing guests on. So I'm kind of hoping this gives me some mental, at least gives me some mental rejuvenation. And we're also adding a slightly different focus to the podcast as well. Oh yeah, no, I didn't want to shut down. My original idea was to move it to a monthly schedule, like I'm doing with Retro Dogfight. But we talked about it, and we'd prefer to do it at least twice a month for now. So that's where we came up with the bi-monthly schedule. But speaking of that sort of thing, we're adding, because we have more time between shows, we are adding a game focus to our podcast. So starting with episode 500, which will be in 2 weeks, by the way, because that's the new schedule. So that's the fourth Thursday of the month. So the next podcast will be in 2 weeks. I will be changing the calendar on SpaceGameJunkie.com to reflect this. reflect. I can talk. But yeah, so in 2 weeks, when we have episode 500, we're going to start playing a game together. Not on the show, not on the podcast, in the background. We're going to start playing a game together so that once we've spent enough time with the game, we can have one show that solely talks about our time with the game, the good, the bad. So we're going to be kind of looking at older space games. We're going to be spending time playing them between shows. And at one point, thank you, Spaz. I haven't changed it yet, but the calendar will be changed. At one point, we will all agree that we're ready to talk about it on an episode, and then the next episode we'll be talking about that game, and maybe we'll get the developer on if we can, that sort of thing. So in talking about which games we wanted to start with, it just seemed to make sense to start with hey Ponicus. It just seemed to make sense to start kind of at the beginning of this new space game wave. And for me, for Space Game Junkie, that would be Space Pirates and Zombies, which was the first game I ever reviewed on Space Game Junkie back in 2011. So long ago. So starting next episode, we're going to be playing Space Pirates and Zombies in the background, and after a few weeks, after a month, after we're all comfortable with it, we'll decide we're ready, and then we'll have an episode discussing the game proper. So I wanted to do this because, one, I'm really enjoying Retro Dogfight, in which three of us talk about we have a game-specific topic where we talk about an old flight sim. It's been a lot of fun. And two, I wanted to do this because there are times where, because of topic shows, not everyone has something to contribute. Like, three of us may talk and two of us may be silent. Two of us may talk and three of us may be silent, So if we all play the same game, then everyone has something to contribute. Hopefully. So that's why I wanted to add this kind of game focus. So every now and again on the podcast, we might, near the end, talk about how the game is coming along, how we're doing with it, that sort of thing. So we're starting with Space Pirates and Zombies. We're going to go all over the map. There's no rhyme or reason as the game we're going to choose. I mean, FTL is probably going to be the second game, and then the third game, I don't know, could be like Nomad from 1993 or
we don't know the order it's going to be in. We'll just
order.
decide it as we go.
We're going to decide as we go. It's going to be all over the map. It's going to be newer stuff. It's going to be older stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And so, we're starting with Space Pirates and Zombies 1. I recorded a little of, I haven't played it in a long time, and I recorded a little of it today for this show, and I'm like, oh yeah, this game is freaking great. I'm excited because I love this game and I haven't played it in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, this game is so good. So I'm excited to return to it. It's been more than a dog's age since I've played this game. So that is the big announcement starting. Oh, and in 2 weeks, it's going to be kind of a special day also. We're not just doing a podcast, we're going to be doing a special stream. I'm taking the day off, and I've asked our lovely developer community to come up with games for another game jam. You might recall a few years ago when we had Space Game Junkie's 10th anniversary in 2021, we did a game jam, and several developers submitted games, and I played those on stream. So that's what we're going to do in 2 weeks. We're going to do an extra long stream. It's not going to be just the normal 2-hour thing. It's going to be however long it takes to get through all the games that are submitted for the current game jam. So that's going to be a special day in a couple of weeks where we have episode 500 of the podcast. But we're also going to do a special stream. Chris, no, I'm still going to be streaming regularly on Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's not changing. The only thing is changing is the podcast. Because I am burnt out. And I'm probably burnt out because I have severe social anxiety, and there's a pressure involved in talking to other people, even people I like, even people I love. There's a pressure involved in talking to people. It's kind of exhausting. So switching it to every 2 weeks, I think will be a benefit for my brain, and hopefully will rejuvenate the whole thing. Maybe I'll have the mental bandwidth to bring guests back on, that sort of thing.
And for anyone wondering, just by the way, I'll still be streaming on Discord.
Yes.
And so even on the times we don't have a podcast, there's a good chance you'll find me on in Hollow Suite 1.
Yeah. And if you haven't joined our Discord, it is discord.spacegamejunkie.com. We have a lovely, very positive community. We have a lovely Discord. So I encourage you all to join it if you haven't already. Probably our biggest and most vibrant community. So yeah, if you haven't joined our Discord, please do so. That's where I post news about new games and everything. So yeah, definitely join our Discord if you haven't already. Because burnout is real, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. Because as I said earlier, even if you're doing something you love, you can burn out on it. For example, games. I am currently burnt out on Starfleet 2. It's my favorite game, but I'm currently burnt out on it. I'm currently burnt out on Lord of the Rings Online. Currently burnt out on Warhammer 40K. So burnout is a real thing, and it's okay to deal with it. A lot of people I know. Hey, Mosgrom. Hey, Mosgrom. Sorry, I said that twice. A lot of people I know don't really know how to deal with burnout very well. And it's not talked about very much, at least with the people I know. People don't acknowledge the burnout. They don't want to talk about the burnout. I think people feel like burnout is a weakness, especially in America with our stupid corporate culture. Can you guys hear that, by the way?
No.
Okay, good. My wife has a friend over in there. They're being women, right? No, I'm kidding. They're just gabbing, and they're getting loud, but hopefully it won't be that loud. So yeah, I wanted to talk about burnout and how it's not a weakness, how it can be dealt with, because burnout is very real, and especially in our American culture, it's really not acknowledged because so many people think you have to grind to succeed. You got to be working all the time, blah, blah, blah. That is changing generationally, though, which is nice. Like the younger generations. And I don't know about you, but I've noticed the media is calling it things like quiet quitting and things like that, where they just come in, do exactly their job for exactly the amount of time required and then leave. And the older generation are like, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to like work until you drop. Nope, you're not supposed to work until you drop. You're not supposed to work until you drop. So it feels like at least here in America, the younger generations are getting away from the habits that can cause burnout. But for me,
well, some of them are. Some are trying to encourage it.
Yeah, that's true. But
though I will add on to this that hard work, the idea of hard work, is often just a grift.
Yeah.
It's to get you to work harder for less pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Or fewer benefits.
Friends, let me give you a piece of advice if you have a job. Never do anything extra. Never, ever do. Never excel. Never excel. Ever. Because then they'll give you more work, but not more money. So don't ever excel at your job. Get what you need to do done. Be good at it, but don't be great at it. Unless you love it. Unless you're like doing something you love. Like my wife is an elementary school teacher, and that's what she loves, and she's really good at it. She's, so that's different. But like if you're in fucking Starbucks and you just want to, get your paycheck and get out, don't be great at anything. Don't. Because that's how they get you. Next thing you know, they'll be like saying, hey, can you do a shift for this guy? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, sure. I'm a company man, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't.
A quick story to illustrate the point from a musical standpoint. My grandmother could play the piano and was marvelous at it, but she grew up in a small town called Hartley, Iowa. It may or may not be small now, but she said, if you know how to play the piano, especially in a small town, do not tell another breathing soul, or you will be playing it for the entire town. But that said, from the standpoint, where burnout comes from in my case, is in a profession where you're supposed to treat the other people nicely, when someone comes to you like they did the other day and said, "We need this done by tomorrow." Normally it takes a month, and I'm not going to do it, and it gets to the point where you want to moon the computer, and it's just like, I have reached the point where, and I won't get into politics, but there's so much hate lands on my desk on a weekly basis. This week I threw up my hands and I just said, look, I'm done. I can't take the abuse anymore. I'm done. And people have told me, well, I pay taxes. You have to put up with my abuse. I said, no, I don't.
No, you don't. You do not have to put up with that old adage, the customer is always right. No, they're not. They are not.
The full phrase is, in matters of taste, the customer is always right.
And that is also not true. I would
well, that comes to if they're putting on an outfit.
Yeah, okay.
That's a matter of taste.
I guess
it's more.
That's a matter of taste.
It's the thing, if they don't like it, they won't buy it. That's the bare minimum. The bare minimum of the customer is always right. If they don't like something, they won't buy it, and you just leave it at that.
Yeah, and someone else will. So, yeah.
Plus,
go ahead.
One of the dangers of burnout that I wanted to just briefly mention, and I won't get into politics and minority communities, one of which I'm a member, but the powers that be count on that. And I said to a good friend of mine, I said, it's been over 30 years and I'm tired of fighting. And it's time for somebody else to fight. And they said, well, that's what they count on, that they'll wear you down. They said, they finally have. And I said, let them do whatever they want. I'm tired of fighting. But that's the bad side of burnout, because there's not always someone there. Like in my case, there's someone else to take up the whatever you call the baton and say, I'll lead your charge. But you can get really tired of the abuse, especially when you reach an era, whether it's in corporate culture or social culture, that people around you don't care unless they're affected personally. And it's like, you're next, and still people won't care, and it doesn't sink in.
Yeah. So, burnout is very real. A lot of us are going through it right now because of the current waves handed everything state of the world. It is a crazy time to be alive. As you know what I wonder sometimes? Would it be easier to live without empathy? I think it would be. I think it would be easier to live without empathy and just not give a shit about other people. I think that's how a lot of these, I think that's how a lot of these people get through the world, is they don't give a shit about other people.
That's how wars start.
Well, yeah.
Do you want the social analytic answer?
Go for it.
Because the social analytic answer is we do live in a society, and our society is capitalism.
Yeah.
And because of that, we've basically formulated a society that, okay, in summary, the more money you have, the more influence and power you have, and the higher quality of life is. But since money is finite, in order for you to have more money, someone else has to have less. And this is fundamentally true of any and all resources.
Capitalism is a zero-sum game.
Yes. So yes, the best way to function, not necessarily the only, but the best way to function is by completely not caring about others, because then you could just take the most stuff from other people and not feel bad about it.
Welcome to Socialist Cast, the socialist-focused podcast inside of the Space Game Junkie podcast, where we talk about how much we hate capitalism.
We have those moments sometimes.
Well, you know,
we should have
to interject a positive note in all the dismal here
Well,
is it is, if you think you've reached the point in your life, as I have, where I thought the only way anybody would know I was dead was when the body started to stink out in the hallway, you might be surprised from what corner someone who really cares about you comes.
yeah.
You know, when I reached
Yeah.
that point, somebody called and said, "Where the hell is Julie?" You know, and I reached the point in my life where now a lot of these people are gone the way of all things. People die, but around my 50th birthday, I'd reached that point in my life, and unbeknownst to me, I came home and here's a house full of people. So, and if you give in, you never know if it can get better. There's these cartoons, you see people digging these tunnels, and they get to the end of the tunnel and stop, not realizing 6 inches further is a diamond mine. And that's very true. I've had people in my life that have given up, and I've given up, but still I try and remind myself of the good things in my life.
Yeah.
I've got people who love me.
Yeah.
I am living in a home that somebody else paid for, and the generosity of 2 people, including one person who used to despise me, just said, "Here's my share." I know I don't own the whole thing, but even I've got a job that even if they say get out, I can always retire. So sometimes I think I tend to forget about the good things. And here's another quick story: is when I reached recently when I became another victim of the powers that may be. I called, and this is the thing, when you tell somebody you've got PTSD, they still look down at you. "Oh my God, you're seeing a therapist." Well, you know, it's like when a good friend of mine died, has just happened 2 weeks ago. It's better than the alternative and say, "Look, I can't have it. I'm going to chuck it all in." But I've got a doctor that when I was forced off the job, everybody else where I worked was a layoff for 45 days. Not only did the doctor not charge me, she took $50 out of her wallet and handed it to me.
Oh, wow.
And this recently, I've had one of my best friends died 2 weeks ago, and it was like, "Oh, did you die fast?" No, it was long, slow, and horrible, and it was a release. And so I reached, and I won't get into what happened to me this week, but something did, and it was a big trigger. And I called the doctor's phone number, and I said, she's on vacation. I forgot about it. The doctor I didn't leave a message, not only called me back, knowing whose number it was, called me back from Paris. And when we were done talking, she said, "Now you know how much I care about you. I called you back from not only vacation in Paris." I said, you never know who cares about you that you don't really. So, you know, before you chuck it all in altogether, talk to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get that dark. We're talking about burnout. But yeah, folks, I mean, if you're feeling burnt out, I mean, don't be afraid to seek help. I mean, seeking help is not a weakness. Empathy is not a weakness. Burning out is not a weakness. Seeking help is not a weakness. So I feel like in this American culture, especially, people feel like seeking help is a weakness. It isn't. It isn't to know that you need help and seek it out. You know, I mean, I've been burnt out many times in my life, and I have found what works for me is taking a break from that thing and coming back to it later. I took a break from gaming for 2 years. I didn't play any video games for 2 years, about 20 years ago. And I spent most of my time in therapy instead. But that's what I needed, what I needed. Yeah, burnout is real, and that's one of the reasons we're making this change to the podcast, is because I am very burnt out. And it's weird to have different types of burnout. Like I'm burnt out of the podcast, but I'm not burnt out of the daily streams. I think maybe, I don't know why. I don't quite know why that is.
Human brains are weird, confusing, and we're listening.
I actually think I do, because when you are streaming in the mornings,
yeah,
it is typically a different game each day.
That's true.
Yes, you can burn out on individual games, but you can always play something else.
Right.
With the podcast, it's not just the social pressure aspect of having to talk to all of us.
Yes.
But also the fact that you have to do all the organizing and work out the scheduling, and if there's guests, you got to book them and all of that.
Yeah.
So there is more pressure on you to do that than there is to do the morning stream. Because if you just want to nope out of the morning stream, you can say, no, I'm not feeling it today, and not stream. With the podcast, especially if we've got a guest, can't really do that. So I think that's your answer.
Yeah. There's another facet to it. With the morning streams, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm talking at the camera, and you guys are replying on text, which is for some reason much easier on my brain than talking to an actual
It's your social anxiety.
It is, exactly. Yeah. Yes, it is. So doing a thing for almost every week for 12 years. I mean, burnout seems obvious. Burnout seems inevitable. So that's what's going on. And I think this change will be good. I think it'll kind of revitalize. No,
Jose. No, we're making changes to the podcast.
We're not going away. I'm going to write a post about this also. I just wanted to announce it here first, that the podcast, again, is changing to a bi-monthly schedule. To be clear, that's twice a month, not once every 2 months. Oh, English.
I love the English language.
Fucking such a weird, stupid language. So yeah, we're going to be switching to twice a month, second and fourth Wednesday of every month. And so yeah, starting with the next episode. And I think this will be good for the show overall. I think this will be good, especially good for me. I know it'll be good for me, but I think this will be good for the show because, yeah, you could do something you love and still burn out. I said that again. I'm rambling now. We should probably start wrapping up. I know it's a short show, but I don't know what else to say. What do you guys? Do you guys have anything you want to say, or should we just start wrapping up? I don't know what else to say right now.
I want to say thank God, to reiterate something somebody put in the show. Thank God that you're just taking a change of the podcast format instead of going away altogether, because there are, and here's why. And it's not just about the podcast itself. It's about the community. In this day and age, there is damn few safe spaces. It's rare that I can find some place where I can post about anything and not get immediately attacked for some reason, but yet the Space Game Junkie podcast and its associated community has become an important safe space in my life. And even if we're not in a podcast, it's always something I can go and still post about something, even if it's just a cartoon that says two aliens saying we're here to take over your world, and a little guy that says, "Oh, thank God." Yeah.
there was a tweet there was a tweet like that too, where it was like the aliens come by and they're like, "We're going to take over," and they don't expect the humans to go, "Oh, thank goodness, let us help," and they're like, "What? Wait, huh?"
Look, we'll take anyone. Just
you guys have to.
I voted for Curtis.
You guys have to be better than this guy. You have to be better.
Or at least less stupid.
So thank you to you for only going to a new format, not just going away.
That's, I mean, it's not Sev, I mean, to answer your question about hosting, like Spaz brought up earlier, there's a lot of pressure to host this. It's a lot of pressure. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to put that on someone else. I mean, I feel like if I'm doing that, I'm giving someone homework they didn't ask for. You know what I mean? And I don't mind taking the pressure. It's just every week, you know? So lessening that pressure to twice a month, I think will be very beneficial. Because I mean, let's be honest, I am Space Game Junkie. Honest. Let's be honest. And so it's kind of like my name. It's me, basically. And so I feel like I should be the one that helms this thing. You know what I mean?
I know. It's like having Casablanca without Bogart. Holy shit.
What a good
Right.
That's a great comparison.
Like having Master and Commander without Russell Crowe.
Well, it's also just to expand on that. Years ago, it was suggested back during the old crew hosting this thing that we would submit stuff for the curated page and for the website. We'd submit videos for that, and that was the idea that would take some of the pressure off Brian. And it was shot down specifically because this is something that Brian started. So his name is on it. He's got quality control over that, full quality control. And it would be very different if someone else was doing the uploading.
Yeah. Basically.
So even if we could, it would not be right.
No, because I'll just say it. Even though this is our show, my co-hosts are my partners, kind of my baby. You know, it's kind of me. It's kind of my soul, kind of my baby. I've put so much time and love and blood and effort and money into this. It's just, I don't think a rotating thing would work. And Bob, to answer your question, we are absolutely not having the old co-host back. No. that is no.
We've gone our separate ways.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. They're doing their own thing now. I don't know how it's done. I don't know how their thing is going, but they went to do their own thing, which is fine.
Well, you know, there's a trend in the music industry these days that say, "Oh, we're going to buy this group's name." Well, it's like, you can say you're the Mills Brothers, but the Mills Brothers are gone, and it ain't the same thing.
Now a private equity firm owns the Mills Brothers. So yeah, to basically sum up everyone, because I think we're gonna go soon. The podcast is changing format. We're still gonna have topics, and we may occasionally have guests, but we're also adding a game focus to the show, wherein we're going to be playing a game in the background, and then every so often we'll have an episode about that game once we feel we've played enough of it to talk about it. So starting with episode 500 in 2 weeks, our game will be game of the moment, game of the show, I don't know what you want to call it, will be Space Pirates and Zombies. And very much looking forward to it because it's a terrific game, and it kind of got Space Game Junkie rolling, really, back in the day. So yeah, I think, unless anyone has something to say, I think we'll wrap up a little early today. But that's kind of fitting because the next one will be probably a little long. So the next show, we're going to look back over the years that the podcast has been around, and we're going to try and celebrate some of the games and developers that have really helped define this new wave of space gaming that has taken place since basically Space Pirates and Zombies and FTL. They really got the ball rolling, and then Elite and Star Citizen, I feel, picked up that ball and threw it further. So that's what we're going to talk about on the next show in 2 weeks. Remember, it's 2 weeks from now, the 27th. And again, I will be changing the calendar on spacegamejunkie.com to reflect this. So yeah. So I hope you'll all join us for the special morning stream of episode of the 500 the game jam, the 500 episode game jam that we're going to be doing, where developers are submitting game jam games, and I'm going to play hopefully all of them, and then we'll do a podcast celebrating the developers we're particularly proud of. I mean, we love all our developers, but there are some we should single out, I think, as really moving the genre forward over the last decade or so. So yeah, that's going to do it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for sticking around. Some of you have been around for years. I got to thank you, and I love you so much for listening as much as you have. I hope you'll stick around through this change. I think it's going to be for the best. I think it's going to make the podcast better in the long run, because I didn't want to shut this down. I do love doing this, but I feel like a change was needed to avoid shutting it down, being shut down. I would shut it down. No one else is shutting it down. I'm rambling. I got to go. So have a great day, everyone. Be safe, be well. Take care of each other. Please get vaccinated if you haven't already. Get your shots, wear your masks, talk to your doctor, get all your checkups. You never know. It's best to know. Thank you as always to our patrons who help pay for things like Restream. So all the different people can talk to each other on the different services, and I can stream to different services easily. Don't forget to check out Retro Dogfight, my new podcast about old flight sims. And don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks for episode 500. Oh my God.